Hi, welcome to the State of the Onion for 2022. I'm Gaba, the project manager at Tor, and I will be hosting the stream today. Last week, we broadcasted a presentation from the teams at Tor Project. Everybody shared the work we did in 2022, as well as what we are planning to do in 2023. Today, some of our partners from the Tor community will be presenting the work they have been doing this year. You will hear from partners and organizations that are working with Tor in different ways. Please support every one of them as much as you can. The diversity we have in the community is what makes all our work stronger and improves the internet we have. The Tor community is made up of users, developers, organizations, and anybody that is pushing for privacy in the internet. Like every year, in 2022, we have been working directly with partners organizations in some of our projects. We work on things like the integration of Tor, collaborative usability research, training users, and localization of our tools. Thanks to everybody working with us this year. For next year, we want to continue supporting organizations and projects in the internet freedom space. Support each other in building the internet we want. Last, I want to give a shout out to BornHack, an annual hacker camp on Denmark. They are providing us with the infrastructure to do this streaming through Onion service. Thank you. Let's start the presentations with Maria from the Open Observatory of Network Interference, OONI. She will share highlights from 2022 as well as upcoming plans for 2023. Welcome, Maria, and thanks for accepting the invitation to present here today.
Of course. Thank you, Gaba, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm very excited to be here with you all. I work with the Open Observatory of Network Interference, which is commonly known as OONI. And OONI is a free software project that started 10 years ago under the Tor Project. And as part of this brief presentation, I'm going to be sharing some OONI highlights from 2022, as well as some of our plans for next year. At OONI, our goal is to empower decentralized efforts in increasing transparency of internet censorship around the world. To this end, we build a free and open source software called OONI Probe, which you can install in order to measure various forms of internet censorship. To increase transparency of internet censorship, we publish OONI Probe measurements as open data in real time. And thanks to our global community, we've had the opportunity to publish more than 1 billion measurements collected from 241 countries and territories over the last 10 years. Based on OONI data, we've published numerous research reports over the years documenting censorship events around the world. If you're interested in using OONI tools and OONI data in order to investigate internet censorship, you can try our new online OONI training course, which was recently launched on the Advocacy Assembly platform. This course is entirely free and it's available in several languages. As part of the OONI Probe app, this year we launched several new experiments, and these include a new experiment for measuring the reachability of Tor Snowflake, and we also reintroduced a new experiment for measuring vanilla Tor. We also shipped a new experiment for measuring the blocking of encrypted DNS services, and we've been working on creating several new methods for improving how we measure website blocking. And speaking of websites, we also launched a new testless editor through which you can contribute websites for censorship testing around the world. To enable rapid response efforts, we also created a prototype of OONI Probe Web, which is a browser-based tool for measuring website blocking, and we aim to launch this tool in early 2023. I think probably the biggest highlight from this year has been the launch of the OONI Measurement Aggregation Toolkit, which we refer to as MAT. You can use the MAT in order to investigate internet censorship around the world based on real-time data, and you can use the MAT to create charts depending on the questions you want to answer. You can use the MAT to investigate how internet censorship varies across countries and to learn which services are blocked in each country. Based on OONI data, we continue to publish research reports, and these include a research report that we published earlier this year on the blocking of independent news media websites in Russia following the war in Ukraine. We also published a research report on the blocking of TikTok in both Armenia and Azerbaijan during the border clashes earlier this year. and we published a research report on the blocking of social media services, app stores, and on the blocking of encrypted DNS services during the ongoing protests in Iran. Next year, we have many projects lined up. These include shipping our new and improved experiment for measuring the blocking of websites, which will enumerate all the different forms of website blocking and include support for HTTP3. It will also include follow-up measurements, which will help collect richer data. And we also plan to create a new methodology for measuring throttling. But arguably the biggest highlight, or the most important thing we'll be working on next year, is automating the detection and characterization of more forms of internet censorship, which we expect will help with several projects, such as the creation of a censorship alert system. If any of this interests you and you want to get involved, please do get in touch. And there are many ways to get involved and participate in the universe. We have included our contact email address here in the slide. And thank you so much for listening. And that being said, I'll pass it on to Nathan and Fabiola from the Guardian Project.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, so much. Yes, next we will have a pre-recorded presentation from Nathan Freitas and Fabiola Maurice from Guardian Project. They will share updates on Orbot, Onion Browser, Onion Share Mobile and mobile developer support, integration, and share about their work with the Latin America community.
Great, my turn? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Hold on one moment. Hello, everyone. Greetings again from the Onionverse. This is Nathan from Guardian Project, aka Nate Freight, with full visual avatar anonymity privacy mode activated. Now, let's go. Over the last 13 years, our work on Tor for mobile devices has had a huge impact. We began with Orbot, which has had over 16 major releases, 20 million downloads, and today has nearly 2 million active users. In recent months, Orbot has been a critical lifeline for users in Russia, Iran, and for everyday people around the world, where app blocking and usage tracking has increased at unprecedented rate. We're excited that Tor Project has realized that a VPN-based Tor solution is a critical need and should be a core part of their product offering. We're happy to be working together with them to contribute to its success. That doesn't mean we're done with Orbot, and as you will hear today, we have a lot more coming soon. Possibly the most underreported news from us might be onions on apples, Cupertino goes wild! Orbot VPN is now available on iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers, be it Intel, M1, or M2, through the official Apple App Store. Our work for years on Onion Browser and the Tor framework for iOS gave us the understanding we needed to finally deliver a stable, usable network extension-based VPN. Thanks to early work by Mike Tigas, the ISEPA team, optimization from Alex and the Tor network team, the Leaf IP routing library, and the persistent hard work of lead developer Benjamin Earhart, we can confidently offer you a Tor VPN for all Apple devices today. We also continue to support and improve Onion Browser, the Tor-based web browser for iOS devices. With version 3 coming next year, it will be updated to work in tandem with Orbot to improve compliance with Apple policies and continue the great improvements in usability we've been up to recently, and to continue making a privacy-focused browser that works with Tor. You can find all the sweet candy Apple links at orbot.app and onionbrowser.com. In the last few years, we've supported and surveyed thousands of users, held multiple trainings and usability sessions worldwide, and by far the most important critical thing we've heard is bring back the Orbot mascot. See, in the early days of Orbot, we had a little onion-headed robot that you tap to start up, and when you were connected to Tor, it would throw its hands up in the air and say, ta-da, we did it. It made people feel good, less anxious, and more ready to face censorship and surveillance and circumvent them. So we've heard you loud and clear, and we're bringing back a new and improved Orbot mascot. And so now I would like to introduce Orbi. Hey, Orbi, how are you? Oh, you ran into Fabi? She has some important news about our work with communities in the world? All right, well, take it away, Fabi.
Hola, mi nombre es Fabiola, soy la líder de comunidad de Guardian Project y el día de hoy voy a compartir con ustedes el trabajo que hemos estado haciendo proporcionando soporte a diversas comunidades alrededor del mundo y especialmente en Latinoamérica. Me da mucho gusto informarles que aunque parte de este trabajo lo hemos realizado en línea y de forma remota, también tuvimos la oportunidad de realizar algunos eventos en persona este año. Nos esforzamos mucho para lograr establecer nuevas relaciones con grupos en Latinoamérica preocupados por la vigilancia y censura en línea, y lo hicimos a través de una serie de talleres en las que compartimos información sobre herramientas de Tor nuevas y herramientas actualizadas disponibles para dispositivos móviles, en los cuales incluimos Orbot para Android y iOS, Onion Browser para iOS y la versión beta de Onion Share para Android y iOS. Trabajamos en colaboración con el equipo de Tor para conectarnos con comunidades en México, Brasil y Ecuador y utilizamos encuestas para preguntar a estas comunidades acerca del estado de la censura dirigida a los dispositivos móviles en sus países y la forma en que los usuarios reaccionan cuando esto ocurre. También colectamos retroalimentación sobre la usabilidad y nuevas funciones para ayudarnos a mejorar Orbot, Onion Browser y Onion Share para dispositivos móviles. Estas comunidades de usuarios proporcionaron retroalimentación importante relacionada con la nueva función de conexión inteligente, el modo solidario, que es una forma divertida de convertirse en un proxy de Snowflake, y la nueva imagen de Orbot. Organizamos 2 eventos en persona en México, uno en el sur del país y otro en la Ciudad de México. Y entre las comunidades y organizaciones representadas en estos talleres, identificamos una necesidad creciente de herramientas de privacidad y evasión de censura. Y actualmente estamos trabajando para ayudar a integrar el uso de Tor en dispositivos móviles en sus protocolos de seguridad. Desafortunadamente, aún existe una brecha muy grande entre la gente encargada de desarrollo y mejoras a la red de Tor y las personas a las que estamos tratando de ayudar. También existen muchos conceptos erróneos acerca del uso de Tor, entre ellos las implicaciones legales, los riesgos de conectarse a la red de Tor y la idea de que es una red demasiado lenta para su uso ordinario. Nos dimos cuenta que los usuarios que no cuentan con fundamentos básicos de tecnología necesitan más entrenamientos enfocados a la red de Tor, tutoriales y guías de usuarios para entender cómo funciona, por qué deberían usarla y aprender acerca de todas las aplicaciones, herramientas y servicios disponibles para ellos. Así que ahora nos estamos enfocando a producir más contenido educativo, realizar más interacciones directas y crear conciencia entre los usuarios de Latinoamérica. Además, estamos ofreciendo más sesiones en línea y contactando nuevamente a los participantes de talleres anteriores para mostrarles que su retroalimentación es importante, que los desarrolladores escuchan sus sugerencias y que las herramientas de Tor para dispositivos móviles están mejorando cada día gracias a su apoyo. Por mi parte es todo. Muchas gracias y hasta luego.
Wow, isn't Fabi great? It's thanks to her and many other trainers, digital security experts, and advocates around the world that more people know how to use Tor on their phones right now than ever before. Thanks, Fabi. Muchas gracias. Now, with Orbot for Android v17, which is currently in alpha, you'll never be alone. Orbi will always be at your side, ready to make sure you stay connected and that your VPN is working, that you have the best bridge possible, and your chosen apps are safely routed through Tor. Orbi is the anonymous anti-censorship Android, and along with their debut will come a new, simpler, friendly user interface for all Orbot users. One of these features is kindness mode. We'll kill that firewall with kindness. While we've had in a hidden experimental setting in Orbot to turn your phone into a Snowflake proxy, we're now bringing that front and center. We believe people will be really excited to contribute spare processing and bandwidth on their mobile device throughout the day, or maybe just at night while they're sleeping, to help others connect to Tor. We've also added weekly and all-time counters so you can brag and peer pressure your friends into helping too. We've also added Smart Connect features, making it simpler and faster to configure your Tor bridge settings, and implemented a much improved app selection picker. And of course, hovering Orbi. It's so exciting to see Orbi hover up and then bing, say you're connected to Tor. Thanks for our awesome partners at OK Banks and Orbot developer Annette for all the work on this. Lastly, we have always been excited to help new developers build Tor into their apps and devices and services. Through our work on NetCipher, Tor Android, IPT Proxy, Tor Framework, and other code libraries, we have offered a variety of ways that apps can connect to or embed Tor. Most exciting development on this front is Onion Share for mobile, a dream that Micah Lee and I have been discussing for many years that finally became a reality with support from Tor Project. An amazing work by Calyx, Breyer, and the Guardian Project team. Onion Share Mobile provides anonymous end-to-end encrypted file sharing right from your Android or iOS device through hosting an Onion v3 service. Select files, start the service, share an Onion link with a friend, and then that friend can just open that link on any Tor-enabled web browser, like Tor browser for Android, Onion browser, or anywhere a Tor VPN is running. It's free, unlimited, decentralized, anonymous, encrypted, secure, private. I mean, I could go on, but I think my time is up? Yeah, my time is up. Okay. So check out onionshare.org/mobile today. We're really excited to get this launched into the world. Finally, if you have an app, tool, device, or service you want help getting Tor built into, connect with us today at guardianproject.info, or just come anywhere that Tor people hang out and they'll point you in our direction. And join us in the Onionverse. All right. See y'all later. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Guardian Project, for the work you do. Next, we will have Nick Merrill from Calyx Institute. He will present about the progress on Onion Share for Android and work on integrating Tor into Calyx OS. Welcome.
Thanks, Gaba. Hey, everyone. I'm Nick Merrill. I'm the executive director of the Calyx Institute, and we've been around for 12 years now. And I'm really excited that you invited us to present to you about the work we've been doing. We are an educational organization first and foremost, and we do work also to try to bridge the digital divide, but we do a lot of work also to try to build tools to make privacy more accessible and easier to use for regular people. In addition, we also fund our work by giving away mobile hotspots with 5G internet. Only works within the US, unfortunately. When people donate and become members. Just a couple of years ago, Calyx was really just me working out of a basement and a board of directors, but we've been growing super fast. And this is a slightly outdated image of our team. We've actually just added a few more people, but we don't have photos for everyone yet. We just added another Calyx OS developer and another member of our membership team. And as Nathan mentioned and Gaba mentioned, we've been doing work on Onion Share for Android. And last year, I think, in my presentation at State of the Onion, I talked about how we were going to be building Onion Share for Android. Now I'm excited to be able to say that we have a version of Onion Share for Android that's available now for you to play with on F-Droid or Google Play. It still has to undergo security auditing, so it's not quite production quality yet, but it works, and you can actually try it out and give us feedback and report any kind of troubles you may have. So we're really excited about that. In addition to this, we as I mentioned, we build our own version of Android, which is called Calyx OS. And we, as far as I know, we're the only version of any mobile operating system that really embraces Tor and is trying to build Tor's privacy and anonymity functionality directly into the operating system and make it super easy to just use it out of the box. When Onion Share is ready, we're going to be shipping it with the operating system as well. It ships with a whole bunch of great software from Guardian Project, like Orbot and Tor browser from Tor. So we're excited to have people, try that out, give us feedback, help us translate the software to different languages, because we're translating the UI into 80 plus languages. And we also are making it possible so that people can join our organization and make a donation, and we will send people Google Pixel phones with Calyx OS pre-installed on the phones. We also are giving away mobile hotspots with unlimited internet. And I mention this not because I want to sell stuff, but because I want to let people know that they can donate to our mission and support the work that we're doing, and also get something cool for themselves at the same time. Another activity that we've been doing with the Tor project for years now is running Tor nodes. We operate our own network, and we have a really nice data center in New York City that has multiple 10 gigabit uplinks to the internet. And we currently are using over a petabyte of bandwidth every month, helping to run the Tor network and helping to get people online via Tor. We also have been doing a lot of work with bridges. Lately there's been a lot of internet shutdown stuff. There's been some pretty dramatic things happening in a bunch of countries, and we're trying to contribute what we can to helping people get onto the Tor network in places where it's blocked by running bridges. So we've been running bridges in places that are close to where those people are. And we're committed to not only continuing this, and we've been doing this for years, but we're committed to expanding and doing a lot more of this moving forward. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll hand the mic back to Gaba. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you, Calyx, for the work you do, and also for all relay operators. No, the bandwidth that you contribute to the network is essential. So thank you so much for being there. Next, we will have Susan from Superbloom, formerly known as Simple Security. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, yes, thank you so much for the invitation today to talk a little bit about Superbloom and what we've been up to. So my name is Susan. I'm a program manager at Superbloom, and I'm excited to share a little bit about what we've been up to. First of all, who are we? So Superbloom is a design and research nonprofit that is changing who technology serves. We do this by leveraging design to shift power in the tech ecosystem. You may know us as Simply Secure. So recently, we launched our new Superbloom identity, but as always, we're committed to supporting secure usability and open source design for internet freedom projects like Tor. Recently in 2022, we've been tackling some particularly sticky design problems across security, policy, and community. We've tackled questions like, how do we design for high-risk communities in remote, hard-to-reach regions to safely give user feedback? How do we design for onboarding non-technical users into decentralized applications? And how can funders best support sustainable critical digital infrastructure? We've learned a lot answering these and other questions this past year and have some grounding themes to share. So no matter how secure the code may be, a tool is not really safe unless it's easy to use. Because of this, we believe usability should be seen as critical infrastructure. Through partnerships such as Open Technology Fund Secure Usability Lab and the UX Fund and the Prototype Fund, we help open source software teams better understand their users and improve usability. In 2022, we supported user research and UX for core encryption tools, such as the messaging app Snicket, the classic file transfer protocol FileZilla, and the PGP extension Mailvelope, just to name a few. And security, of course, is most important for those highest at risk. That's why we help Digital Democracy instill user-centered research practices to make essential improvements to their mapping app for Indigenous communities, Mapeo. This year, you may have seen us around, earlier as Simply Secure, more recently as Superbloom. We've attended, presented, and workshopped at many community events such as MozFest, RightsCon, DWebCamp, OTF Shutdown GetTown, and All Things Open. We don't just share our work. We've been harnessing this community energy in person and online to collaborate, fill gaps, identify needs, and synthesize together. Some examples are at MozFest 2022, we convened the community to reimagine consent by curating examples of dark patterns in the wild with examples of empowered consent experiences, proactively imagining how we can shift power back to end users. And together with Reset Tech, we designed gatherings, bringing together different stakeholders on topics such as evidence gathering for strategic litigation against big tech and how to best develop an index for platform transparency. And as always, creating open resources is at the heart of what we do. Human-centered design approaches allow us to co-design tools and processes alongside the communities that will use and benefit from them. Examples include partnering with Internews and OK Thanks. We created a set of visual and interactive resources on user testing for open source developers. Continuing to promote developer and designer collaboration, we are currently studying how scientific open source software projects think about their users, work with designers, and prioritize usability, thanks to a grant by the Sloan Foundation. And earlier this year, we launched Building Blocks, a toolkit for funders to better understand and support critical digital infrastructure projects to promote sustainability. And looking ahead, in 2023, we will be continuing our work in policy and design alongside key partners. Soon, we'll be publishing a paper on challenges for designers in creating GDPR-compliant cookie banners, as well as a report synthesizing the Defining Transparency Workshop in partnership with the Algorithmic Transparency Institute and the Information Futures Lab. And we're excited to be leading the productization of the World Wide Web Foundation's Tech Policy Design Lab and making it more accessible and beneficial to global communities. And as always, we're looking to partner with internet freedom and open source projects on secure usability, design, and recently we've added content strategy. So if you're interested, you can get direct support from us via the Open Technology Fund's Secure Usability and Accessibility Lab or their Learning Lab, or you can just reach out to us directly. And last but not least, we'll be launching our new website soon. It'll have our new brand identity as well as a shiny new open resource library. Thanks again for inviting us today. It's great to hear from the community and participate with you all. We love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan. Next, thank you for coming to the State of the Union. Next, we will have a pre-recorded presentation from Richard. They will give updates to Ricochet Refresh and Gosling from this year.
Hey, my name is Richard. I'm a developer working for Blueprint for Free Speech, and so we're going to be talking about the work that's been done over the past year on Ricochet Refresh and Gosling, and kind of an overview of what we want to do in the future. So Blueprint for Free Speech is an international nonprofit that promotes the right to freedom of expression. We maintain Ricochet Refresh, and we're currently developing Gosling. You can find the developers in the Tor Dev IRC channel on OFTC IRC. Ricochet Refresh. It is a Tor Onion service-based peer-to-peer instant messaging app that works currently on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. It's anonymous, decentralized, metadata resistant, and then encrypted. All the sort of things you would expect from Onion services. There's no, centralized server to subpoena or tap. There are no unique identifiers needed to create an account. You can just download it and use it and start chatting with people. Over the past year, we converted the Ricochet Refresh build backend to use CMake instead of QMake, which should help code maintenance in general. We added a pluggable transport support for censorship circumvention. So now any sort of OBS4, Snowflake, or Meek Azure bridge line that you can acquire should now also work in Ricochet Refresh. We implemented a manual and just updated our documentation. And we've integrated various bug fixes as well. Gosling is a peer-to-peer connection plus authentication protocol over Tor. It is based off of sort of the fundamental kind of backbone of how Ricochet Refresh users kind of connect and authenticate with each other. But re-implemented and updated and had some issues with the original protocol fix that were discovered in a security review, I think back in 2021, maybe earlier. It's built on onion services as well. So, again, anonymous, metadata resistant, and then encrypted. And we have a Rust reference implementation. So last year, we kind of announced Gosling. At that point, it was in the sort of, C and C++ and Rust integration prototyping phase, as well as the specification drafting phase. Since then, the specification has been more or less finalized. A big shout out to Nick earlier this year rather, during the Tor Hack Week, kind of tore into our specification and told us how to fix it, and simplify. More importantly, told us how to simplify it, which made my life a lot easier. We've also undergone a security review from Radically Open Security at the end of last month, which suggested a couple of tweaks we made to the protocol, which will be coming soon. We implemented a full reference implementation in Rust with CFFI, C++ utility headers. The Rust backend is just lousy with unit and functional tests, and the public API service also has unit and functional tests. And of course, throughout the year, as specification has run into the sort of reality of implementation, we've updated specifications. So what's next? So for Ricochet Refresh, we want to continue updating our pluggable transports and Tor backend. The recent Tor expert bundle work that has gone into the Tor browser build system will make that a lot easier. We want to integrate Gosling. That was kind of the original whole points of all this was to fix some issues in the Ricochet Refresh backend, so we can integrate these fixes. That would be great. Doing so will necessarily be a completely just protocol breaking change. So as part of the integration work, we also want to kind of review and revamp the chat portion of Ricochet Refresh, which will kind of sit on top of that. Because if we're breaking the protocol, we might as well make protocol improvements as well. On the Gosling side of things, we need to resolve our security issues. Those issues that were discovered in the security review. So that work is in process and should be committed probably by the end of this month. Just general bug fixes and usability improvements. We want to develop some example apps for developers to look at. We want to integrate into cargo. Once Arty has full onion service support, we want to integrate Arty into the backend and just completely drop the legacy Tor daemon. But most importantly this year, we want to collect feedback from developers who might want to use this. Gosling was kind of built off of the lessons learned in Ricochet Refresh and kind of recognizing that what Ricochet Refresh does in terms of authentication and connection between peers over Tor could be generalized and useful in other applications. So that was kind of the hope. We would love it if developers would come and look at our specs, look at our code and contribute and tell us, hey, this is cool, or hey, this is not cool, or maybe I would use this in my application if it had these features, that sort of thing. So if any of this sounds useful to you, please come check us out. Like I said, my email is in the first slide and I'm on IRC pretty much all the time. So come drop me a line. Thanks.
Thank you so much. This is great work. Next, we will have Holmes Wilson from Quiet. He will describe how Quiet works and demo group chat, file transfer, GIFs, and they are fully peer-to-peer Android app. Thanks, Holmes, for accepting the invitation and joining today.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to everyone else who's presented on all these awesome projects and to everyone who works on Tor. So I'm going to talk about Quiet, which is a Slack alternative for desktop and mobile built on Tor and IPFS. So our mission is to build a Slack alternative that lets communities control all their own data without requiring them to run their own servers the way they would have to with something like Mattermost or Matrix. The threat model we're building towards is informed by interviews we did with security experts that advise activists and journalists, as well as activists and journalists themselves. And the requirements that surfaced from that were end-to-end encryption, timed deletion, resistance to credential phishing, and above all, usability, because if tools get in the way of activists and journalists doing their work, activists and journalists will simply fall back to insecure tools. Quiet is inspired by earlier projects in the ecosystem like Tor Chat, Ricochet, and Ricochet Refresh, the project Richard just spoke about, Kuch, Onion Share, and in Quiet, so similar to all these other projects that inspired us, in Quiet, every device runs its own Onion service, and they all connect over Tor. But Quiet is unique, though, in that it uses closed IPFS networks and a CRDT, which is a tool for syncing state between multiple devices without a server, in order to offer things like group chat with Slack-like channels, group file transfer, so for things like images or GIFs or even arbitrarily large files, asynchronous messaging, so being able to message someone who's not currently online with the help of other members of your community. And this, generally, the design approach we've taken lets us approach the simplicity of something like Slack without using servers. The only exception we think, and there might be a way around this, but the only exception we're aware of is that we probably will have to use a central server for push notifications on iOS, but maybe there's some way around that. So the way it works is that each community has its own private IPFS network. Each member of the network knows each other's onion addresses and connects over Tor. The connection is handled by libp2p, which is IPFS's peer-to-peer library, but it goes over Tor. And all connections are authenticated with a certificate from the community owner. Then, on top of those connections, a CRDT called OrbitDB syncs everything the user needs, like recent messages, DMs, attachments, info about other users, etc., just like Slack would, as soon as users come online and connect to others. So when sending a message, the CRDT adds the message to the local state, it calculates the hash of the new state, it gossips that hash to peers fetch messages and files the way BitTorrent would, and all of this happens within private IPFS networks over Tor, not on the global IPFS network. So from this, Quiet can be much more private than Slack, and actually this approach would let you build other apps too, like collaborative document editor or a Kanban board like Trello or a shared calendar like Google Calendar. So to join a Quiet community, people just have to paste in an invite code the way they would with Slack or Discord. Then they can register with the community owner and sync peer info by registering username. And there's one catch where the community owner must be online currently for people to join a Quiet community. But we're planning to address this in the coming year by making it so that the Onion address invite they get will connect them to potentially many peers using something like Onion Balance or some other approach. So I'm going to give a quick demo now. And this is the exciting part. As you know, there's been some issues with the Tor network lately, so I hope everything works. Let's see. So here I am. I'm going to send an emoji from one of my Quiet instances to the others. They're all connected over Tor. Let's see. There it is. It arrived. Now I'm going to send a reply from my phone. This is my Android app over here. Rainbow, exclamation point, and send. And let's see if that message, yes, it arrived. And now I'm going to send a GIF or a file. And it actually, that was a spoiler. It's actually a GIF. And here it is. I get a little preview of it and I send it. And this goes out to the other clients. And let's see if it arrives. There it is, a Halloween Pop-Tart cat. And let's see if it arrived on my phone. Yes, it did. Cool. So all of these are fully peer-to-peer, working in a way similar to all the other projects I mentioned, but they are able to do group syncing functionality over Tor. I'm going to switch back to my slides now. So thanks everyone so much for listening to this talk. I hope you get to try out Quiet. You can follow us on Twitter or find our website or email me directly at h@tryquiet.org. And I'm in Poland now with the rest of my team. So to say thanks, I'll say dziękuję bardzo. And that means thanks in Polish. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Colin. Next, we will have a pre-recorded presentation from Olga Nemirovskaya from Privacy Accelerator. Privacy Accelerator is an online accelerator for commercial and non-commercial projects in the field of privacy, access to information, and legal tech. She's going to talk about DemHack. DemHack is a hackathon event done in collaboration with Tor and other members of the community.
Hi, my name is Olga. I will talk today about work of Privacy Accelerator. DemHack, the fourth hackathon on privacy and access to information, was organized by the Privacy Accelerator and Roskomsvobod in May 2022. By holding such events, we support the spirit of the community, provide a platform for interacting and cooperating among specialists from different countries, offer the opportunity to implement their ideas for the benefit of others, and protect people's privacy and information access rights. The partners of the event were international and Russian IT companies, privacy startups, public organizations, and the media, including Tor, Access Now, Amnesia VPN, VPN Lab, Russian hackers, and others. Some partners, such as the Tor Project, offered their tasks for participants at the hackathon. The task from Tor was posted in the privacy section and was to create a Signal or WhatsApp bot that would share Tor bridges with users. Representatives of the Tor team advised participants during the hackathon, tracked progress, and helped. Two teams came forward to solve this problem. One of them was so successful that it became the winner of the entire hackathon and also received a prize from Tor. Literal Legends has developed a test bot for Signal that supports English and Russian languages. The bot was designed to work on the principle one user, one bridge, with several levels of trust depending on the user's activity and reputation, as well as additional verification via GitHub to prevent attacks to obtain a complete list of bridges. We continued to work with Literal Legends at the next hackathon in September 2022, and it again took a prize. After the hackathon, the most promising teams are accepted into the Privacy Accelerator program. Privacy Accelerator alumni include Amnesia VPN, free open source software to create a personal VPN on your server. Allows you to access blocked content without revealing your identity even to VPN providers. API, decentralized email, is free from intermediaries. Data exchange between mailboxes occurs through a P2P connection in an encrypted form. Securno, personal security assistant and safety habit tracker, not only cybersecurity, but legal, financial, and personal. This is important for the protection of activists and journalists during the war. GetSite Copy, a solution for providing access to media blocked by state censorship in Russia. The bot now supports 15 media, including BBC News Russia. We also integrate with Radio Svoboda. This is especially true during the period of military censorship. The mission of the Privacy Accelerator is to increase the number of high-quality projects in the areas of privacy and internet freedom, as well as to increase public interest into the topic of data protection. As part of the 3-month acceleration program, we train teams to identify user needs and satisfy them, plan project development stages, and prepare for pitching to investors and users. For successful teams, we also provide the opportunity to work in an incubator where we already provide targeted mentoring support and are also ready to assist in further steps, attracting investment, searching for the first users, entering the market, auditing. The program is free for all participants, even if these are not NGO projects, but startups that would like to make a profit. As a part of our collaboration with the Tor team, we would like to hold hackathons where they are seeing tasks and monitor their implementation, as well as establishing a mentorship program for startups that take part in the Privacy Accelerator, where Tor specialists and community experts could be the mentors. Young professionals will greatly benefit from your expertise and experience in privacy, anonymity, and bypassing blocking and censorship. Let's build a stronger, more professional community by cooperating and working together. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Next, we will have a pre-recorded presentation from Integrity and Boyska from Tails. As you already may know, Tails is a portable operating system that protects against surveillance and censorship.
Hi, my name is Boyska. I'm Integrity. And we work for Tails. Thanks a lot to Tor for inviting us.
Tails is a portable operating system that protects against surveillance and censorship. Instead of starting your computer on Windows or macOS, you can start it on your Tails USB stick whenever you need extra security. And when you should shut down your computer, Tails leaves no trace of what you did on the computer. Also, everything you do from Tails on the internet goes through the Tor network. Tails is developed with security in mind, but we know that making it easy to use is as important as cryptographic details. Because if Tails is not easy to use, people will use tools that are less safe. So improving usability has always been and continues to be a big focus for us. Today, we'll present you two of the most recent innovations in Tails.
So, as you know, unrestricted access to the internet cannot be taken for granted. Many people all around the world suffer from censorship and surveillance. An important functionality for those people is the use of Tor bridges. Bridges are a great mechanism to avoid censorship and surveillance, however, they are not always easy to use. So, in Tails 5.8, we will introduce QR code scanning. This will make the use of bridges dramatically easier. In fact, you'll now be able to receive the QR code on your smartphone, show it in front of the webcam, and just connect to the Tor network.
Some journalists use Tails as a safe work environment and storage area for sensitive material, thanks to our person storage feature. But we learned from users that they found it too complicated to use, and many fell back to other, less safe solutions. To fix this, we have to make Tails easier to use. That's why we're glad to present the new person storage, which makes it easier and quicker to set up. The new person storage doesn't require restarting Tails after creating it, or each time you activate a new feature. It will also make it easier for us to persist more settings in the future. And finally, it looks so much better.
So journalists and whistleblowers use Tails to denounce the wrongdoings of governments and corporations. Activists use Tails to avoid surveillance and organize their struggle for liberatory social change. Domestic violence survivors use Tails to escape surveillance at home. Privacy-concerned citizens use Tails to avoid online tracking and censorship. Donate now to help us give those people better tools. Donations from passionate people like you are our most valuable source of funding because they guarantee our independence. And thanks to Tor, Tails would really not exist without the foundations that Tor provides.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that was the last presentation from the State of the Union for the Tor community. And I want to thank so much to everybody presenting today, and also to every volunteer, relay operator, organization, and user of our tools. Your involvement makes the work of Tor stronger. I also want to thank human rights defenders, journalists, and activists that are fighting for a better world for all of us. Thanks for watching, and please support each of the organizations that presented here today. We cannot do what we do without you all. Have a good day.